From Tekashi 6ix9ine getting jumped in a Florida gym bathroom to Dax getting checked in public by Tory Lanez for his diss track, here are some of the times fake gangsters got checked by real ones. Starting off with the rainbow-haired snitch 6ix9ine himself. The Brooklyn rapper, known for his iconic hairdo, extensive face tattoos, and provocative behavior, rose to fame in 2017 with hits like Gummo and Fifi. He portrayed himself as a tough, street-oriented gangster affiliated with the 9 Trey Bloods gang. Even though he had no legitimate street credibility, the rapper found himself on the receiving end of a brutal beating in the most unexpected of places, a gym restroom in southern Florida. The incident, which was captured on video and posted online by Only in Dade, sent shockwaves through the hip-hop community. The footage shows 2 men towering over 6ix9ine, who's seen lying defenseless on the bathroom floor, trying to shield his head from the relentless blows. The attackers are seen yelling at him, while one kicks his stomach and the other repeatedly punches his head. The rapper appears bloodied and battered, as he eventually staggers out of the restroom with the cameraman telling him he's a fan.
Bro, I'm a fan, bro. No, I'm a fan. I'm just saying, bro. I'm a fan, bro.
I know, but y'all niggas jumpy, nigga.
I know, I ain't jumpy, bro. I'm just
According to 6ix9ine's attorney, he was inside the sauna at the gym when he was randomly jumped by several men. He didn't have any security with him at the time, an oversight for someone who's been known for his controversial and provocative behavior. He was later taken to a hospital by paramedics. However, this isn't the first time 6ix9ine has been confronted. Back in 2018, he was arrested on federal racketeering charges, which included allegations of his involvement in violent crimes committed by the 9 Trey Bloods. During his trial, it was revealed that Tekashi had been cooperating with the authorities, providing testimony against his former gang associates in exchange for a reduced sentence. This betrayal of the street code led to a backlash from the hip-hop community, with many artists and fans labeling him as a fake gangster who had snitched on his own crew. As a result, Tekashi became a prime target for real gangsters, both inside and outside of prison. He was reportedly attacked and robbed by fellow inmates while serving his sentence. And after his release, he faced death threats and had to hire round-the-clock security for his protection. This event had a profound impact on his life and career. In a bid to save himself, he publicly apologized for his actions and attempted to distance himself from his former gang persona. Despite releasing new music, Tekashi's reputation as a fake gangster who had betrayed his own gang was hard to shake off, and he continued to face criticism and backlash from his peers and fans alike. Another example is the case of Canadian rapper Dax. He portrayed himself as a tough and street-savvy artist.
About how you feel, but what you provide inside that home.
Often claiming to have a criminal background and connections to gangs. However, his tough guy image was challenged when he was confronted by Tory Lanez. It all started when the Canadian rapper dropped a diss track titled I'm Not Joyner or Don Q, where he mentioned fellow rapper Tory Lanez. The track quickly gained traction, amassing nearly 1 million clicks in just over a day, causing quite a stir in the rap community. But little did Dax know that Lanez was not one to take such mentions lightly. He confronted Dax, as captured in a video posted by several media outlets, including Academic's Instagram account. Lanez wasted no time in stepping to Dax, demanding an apology.
nigga.
I got you, bro.
Apologize, nigga.
I got you, man.
Say sorry, nigga.
My bad for the
Say
diss track,
sorry,
G.
nigga.
Sorry, G.
All right, bet.
Apologize, bro, he repeated, warning Dax that things wouldn't end well if he didn't back down. Caught off guard and faced with the reality of a real-life confrontation, he had no choice but to comply. The tough facade he'd portrayed in his music quickly crumbled. As he offered his apologies to Tory Lanez, it seemed that Tory Lanez's postulation had worked, and Dax had learned that there were real consequences to his provocative lyrics and tough guy image. But it's not just the rap industry that has this problem. I'm sure quite a few of you might have heard about a little old show called Beyond Scared Straight. The series is like a goldmine for wannabe gangsters, who get a rude awakening when they come face to face with the real deal. Take Cortasia, for example. This 15-year-old girl struts in with a long list of gang-banging credentials, bragging about how she once split another girl's head open with a sock full of batteries. Yep, you heard that right. Her first encounter with the tough-as-nails female prisoners goes smoothly, mostly thanks to the armed police officers keeping a close eye on her. But then she meets her aunt, who's also behind bars. Tears stream down her face as she explains just how awful prison life is.
Neither am I. So you ganging Bloods, huh? What the Bloods doing for you?
and how disappointed she is to see Cortasia there. It's a super heart-wrenching moment. Suddenly, Cortasia has a moment of clarity. She realizes what she's been doing with her life, and it's not pretty. She embraces her aunt tightly in a tearful hug before they're torn apart. It's a powerful scene that hits you right in the feels. I mean, who wouldn't reevaluate their life choices after that?
I bang bloods, homie. You not from you don't bang bloods all day, so woo. You not.
Another memorable example is Javier, a 13-year-old who boasts a long list of crimes involving stealing and other gang-related activities. But little did he know, he was in for not just one, but 2 reality checks in a single episode. The first wake-up call came from a former gang member who dropped some serious truth bombs on Javier. With a casual demeanor, he explained that the only 2 outcomes of the gang life were prison or the graveyard.
I'm gonna say something smart-ass.
You acting like a little anyway. You can't even say it loud enough for somebody to hear you. It will whip your ass.
Talk about heavy stuff for a young kid to digest. But did it faze Javier? Not really. It wasn't until the second wake-up call that Javier's tough exterior started to crack. The warden, a no-nonsense woman who didn't mince her words, took Javier aside and calmly laid out the cold, hard truth. She explained to him that in a men's prison, there were no women. But good-looking young men were the next best thing. That's when it hit Javier like a ton of bricks. Suddenly, the reality of what his life could become dawned on him, and he realized that maybe a life of crime was not for him. These 2 wannabe thugs are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the type of kids that end up in the show. Honestly, I could probably make an entire channel devoted to just that. But do you know of another show that also deals in giving young troublemakers a valuable life lesson? You might not have guessed it, it's Dr. Phil. However, this show handles it a bit differently. Instead of throwing the young troublemakers into the lion's den with the rest of their role models, Dr. Phil instead uses reformed gang members who've managed to escape their criminal pasts and made a life of their own for themselves.
Impacted a police officer who's had to be airlifted in a life-threatening...
While it may not have the same shock factor, it's still just as effective. Take Dawson as an example. This 15-year-old kid with 2 loving parents who live in a nice suburban neighborhood thought it would be cool to go around with a gun tucked in his waist, take drugs, steal cars, pretending to be a big-shot gangster. Joseph Lucero, a mainstay at the show, calmly explained what his life was like when he was his age, explaining how he'd come back to a broken home and how he thought he had no choice but to turn to the streets. In contrast to him, it just didn't make sense for someone like Dawson to act the way he was. Luckily, the words managed to get through to the youngster, who began crying after hearing Joseph's story, and has now seemingly turned a new leaf in his life after his time at the renowned Dr. Phil Ranch. But hey, that's all there is for fake gangsters who came across the real deal.